is a nightmare. Man, that's the way it seems. Life is a nightmare.
Welcome to Today in Horrible History, your daily moment of historical misfortune. For February 16th, 2022, we head back to February 16th, 1899. On that date, the President of France, Félix Faure, died in the presidential palace while having a tryst with his high society mistress half his age. Then things started getting weird. Faure died suddenly at the age of 58 from apoplexy, or if you prefer a stroke, while spending quality time with 30-year-old high society bad girl Marguerite Steinheil, who herself was married to painter Adolf Steinheil. Most accounts were rather more specific, with some embellished accounts having Faure's seized up cold dead stroke hands entangled in her hair. Worse, all of France created a variety of filthy puns to describe the event, and Steinheil herself, who picked up the nickname the funeral pomp. This and other puns are more hilarious with the full French explanations. Trust me on this, I just don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. That by itself would qualify for Today in Horrible History, but there's so much more. Thank you, France. Nationalist poet, only in France is nationalist poet a job description, Paul Déroulède, approached generals at Faure's state funeral to encourage them right then and there to lead a coup against the state. When the generals turned him down, he insisted on being arrested for treason, which they did, maybe just to shut him up at the funeral. He was acquitted in the first trial, then rearrested and found guilty, resulting in banishment to Spain for 10 years. A punishment only if you're a really big French nationalist, but for most of us, really just a dream retirement. Upon his death in 1914, he was given a hero's funeral, because of course he was. Several years earlier, Déroulède had a duel with better-remembered politician Georges Clemenceau, who years later, as French Prime Minister, helped waste millions of lives in World War I. The two men fired a total of 6 shots in the general direction of each other, and all of them missed. Of course they did. But wait, there's more. Thank you, France. Marguerite continued to have various affairs and marriages to and with a variety of rich men for decades to come. She took a breather from breaking that adultery commandment to engage in a little murder, or at least it appears that way. In May 1908, her husband and mother were found strangled to death in their beds in their shared home. Marguerite was fine, although gagged and bound in a bed. She claimed a group of 3 men and a woman wearing black robes broke in, tied her up, and strangled 2 people she happened to inherit a lot of money from, but not her. She also spent years trying to frame a couple of her servants sequentially for the murders long after the police stopped questioning anybody. The case remained unsolved. Marguerite married a rich British guy who died almost 30 years before she did. She died quietly in England in 1954 at the age of 85, where no one knew or recalled any of this. Before the internet, you could do that. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Today in Horrible History. Remember that after a brief visit, the rest of your day can only seem better in comparison.
Life is a nightmare. Man, that's the way it seems. Life is a nightmare.